But Donald Trump doesn't talk like someone who's been in Washington for 30 years. He doesn't
Training
say it the
guns
way
on
I
her
would have said it.
face?
No, but that's not what he said. Mario, you guys know that. Come on.
Let's put her with a rifle standing there with 9 barrels shooting at her, okay? Let's see how she feels about it. You know, when the guns are trained on her face.
I mean, everybody knows exactly what he was saying. What he was saying is, you're so much in favor of war. Yeah, you played a piece of the soundbite, because in another piece of it, he said he would give her a gun to go stand in conflict as well. You don't normally give a gun to someone that's going to be facing a firing squad, which is what much of the media made it sound like. He uses language that maybe is not what we typically hear from someone that works at a think tank. Oh, fine. But I think it's truly not just unfair, it's egregious to see that reported the way that it was, along with other things that are out there. I've never seen such a concerted effort. Look, I've always believed there's bias because no one's unbiased, but I've never seen such a concerted effort like what I've seen, especially in the last 2 weeks, among multiple media outlets in this country, to, in some cases, breathlessly distort and lie about what's being said and to create and manufacture these gotcha moments against Donald Trump. I've never seen it before.
Former Trump opponent turned lapdog Marco Rubio has no issue with Trump's violent language, but he's shocked and appalled by anyone who calls it out. So he's out here explaining the firing squad imagery, after explaining what he meant by sending the military after Adam Schiff, after explaining why he performed fellatio on a microphone, after explaining why he was daydreaming about Arnold Palmer's junk, after explaining why he had a hate fest at Madison Square Garden where MAGA called Puerto Ricans garbage. Next up is explaining why he's okay with the idea of a gunman shooting through the media at his rally in Pennsylvania.
I have a piece of glass over here. And I don't have a piece of glass there. And I have this piece of glass here. But all we have really over here is the fake news, right? And to get me, somebody would have to shoot through the fake news. And I don't mind that so much, 'cause I don't mind. I don't mind that.
What a gotcha moment, where the media reports that the former president, who incited an attack on the Capitol almost 4 years ago, said he doesn't mind if a gunman shoots through the media covering his rally. I mean, it's not like he makes it easy for an unhinged wannabe patriot to reduce people's lives down to disposable creatures.
They're laughing at us. You know what? And if nothing comes out of this whole thing, it's going to teach you damn well better get a different system. And these bloodsuckers up there, they do nothing about it.
As a part of his final pitch to voters, the former president wasn't interested in talking about what he'll do to benefit the people that are voting for him. He was more interested in telling them that he's been cheated.
And I'm the only one that talks about it because everyone's afraid to damn talk about it. And then they accuse you of being a conspiracy theorist. He's a conspiracy. And they want to lock you up. They want to put you in jail. The ones that should be locked up are the ones that cheat on these horrible elections that we go through in our country. And I don't know what's going to happen, but for future elections, I won't be even a part of it. But you ought to damn well go to paper ballots. You ought to go to voter ID. And you ought to have the election over by 9 o'clock. I'm hearing now they're going to take weeks. Can you imagine? They spend all this money on machines, and they're going to say, we may take an extra 12 days to determine. And what do you think happens during that 12 days? What do you think happens?
It's the eve of the election, and this guy is complaining about the one he lost 4 years ago. And no one in that crowd feels like they're following a little crybaby that can't take an L. It continues to be the most important pillar of his movement. So much so that conservative networks might find themselves grouped in with those bloodsuckers that he's okay with being shot at.
Oh, if you even mention the fact that there's cheating in elections, they turn you off. I mean, this is supposed to be one of our brave, very brave networks. I won't mention which, but you can imagine. You know, it's one thing when CNN and MSNBC, crooked as hell.
It's weird how a $787 million lawsuit slows down the amount of false, rigged election coverage one network is willing to carry. You know, the problem is that they already knew he acknowledged his loss in private.
So we're in the Oval and there's a discussion going on. And the president says, I think it could have been Pompeo, but he says words to the effect of, yeah, we lost, we need to let that issue go to the next guy, meaning President Biden.
But that's just General Mark Milley, Trump's chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, telling everyone that he admitted defeat in private. Now, true MAGA patriots will only believe their supreme leader himself admit defeat.
I became president. Then the second time, I got millions more votes than I got the first time. So I was told if I got 63 million, which is what I got the first time, you would win. You can't not win. And I got millions of more votes than that, and lost by a whisker. I didn't lose, but they say I lost, Joe, they say I lost by 22,000 votes.
So 4 years later, he's getting confused about whether he lost by a whisker, lost by 22,000 votes, or if they say he lost by 22,000. Whatever the story happens to be on any given day, any information that he thinks makes him look bad sends him into his fascist conclusions about what to do about it.
And we even have the polls up, but I think it's much more than the polls. No, the polls, I'm telling you, you can make those suckers sing. You get the right pollster, you can do, and you really do inflict damage. When you do like this person from Iowa. Today, the election essentially is really, we're talking Turkey, comes out with a poll different from every other poll, because it wasn't even in question. It's really the opposite way. I'm way up. If you look at 3-4 months ago, Dan, I was losing states that now are walks, they're now walks. And I think you could have that here. It's called suppression. They suppress. And it actually should be illegal because in many ways, it's worse than the written word, which these guys do quite well, actually.
Now, just stop and think about that statement. Polls that show him losing are nothing but voter suppression and should be considered illegal. Nothing about how the polling he doesn't agree with is flawed other than it being something that he doesn't like. So what he doesn't like should be illegal. But no, he's no fascist. He's just a guy that endlessly characterizes a less powerful group of people as animals, rapists, and murderers with inferior genes looking to poison the blood of the country. That's all.
And I'm looking at these muscles, they're bulging all over the place. They're the best wrestlers in the country, all the top champions, and many of them were the individual champions. And I said to the audience, these may be the only people in this room that could take the illegal migrants in a fight. Outside of this little group of 10 people that I have up here, we're in trouble. I said, Dana, I have an idea. Why don't you set up a migrant league of fighters and have your regular league of fighters, and then you have the champion of your league. These are the greatest fighters in the world. Fight the champion of the migrants. I think the migrant guy might win. That's how tough they are. He didn't like that idea too much, but actually it's not the worst idea I've ever had. No, these are tough people. These people are tough and they're nasty, mean.
Why does he think wrestlers and UFC fighters want to have fights with immigrants for his entertainment? Again, what does any of this have to do with the economy or foreign conflicts or his vows to eliminate the Department of Education and get rid of the glimpse of healthcare coverage that Americans have? Who cares? They're still clutching their pearls over being called garbage after defending MAGA, calling people garbage. They must think that the former president doesn't engage in that demonizing rhetoric about Democrats.
This is a group of people, large group of people, larger than people think, but it's a very demonic party. It's become that way. The people aren't. The people, Democrats, regular Democrats aren't. Most of them agree with what I'm saying. But we do need people to say it, and we have to have it. And if it's not said, and then they're going to fight over it. They're going to call you a horrible person and